clicking the record. So it looks like Prakash ji may need another session. He still needs some more time to prepare. Meanwhile, we can continue our contemplation on the final chapter of Tattva Bodha, Jeevanmukta. So who would like to summarize where we are and what is that we want to focus on today? Today the focus is on Jeevanmukta and how Jeevanmukta is free from bondage of karma. That is the main focus. So who would like to begin with that for today?
Yeah, I can go.
Okay. Do you have the notes, Saravanji, or how do you want to do it?
This T66.
Yeah.
I have the notes, but yeah, I see it as an introduction.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll start with this, right? T66.
Okay, Saravanji.
Yeah. So in T66, we start with the discussion on the realized master, right, and the realization itself. So there is this objective of the religions, which we see like is to give a direction to the masses to stay in the right path, and condition them through, like, do these things. If you don't do, if you harm others, or like if you create a problem, you go to hell, and you have to keep doing good things to go to heaven, which seems to be like always talking about the one beyond this life, right? And while the Vedanta's focus is like what you want to be, that like the ultimate enjoyment, you can get it now. You can be now, which is through the freedom from samsara. Right? So the Vedanta, the way how Vedanta is different from the religions which talk about heaven and hell, is like Vedanta is all talking about getting that freedom now, right? So the so that's what makes Vedanta special compared to others, right? Which is like, you can it's nice to see that that the reward is here, and like it's not that you do it and then like in some life which you cannot see that you will get it, right? So and it does through the Atmajnana, about the knowledge about the self, right? And it starts with Atmajnana, and then like it talks about like what is your real nature, which leads to the end of desires, where the desires come from the wrong understanding of the limited feeling of myself, right? And the source of happiness is within, and not from the objects that I see outside, right? And this end of desires leads to basically the end of the rebirth, right? And those who were able to achieve this in the birth, it's what like we see as the realized masters who were, and Jeevanmuktas. We say that they were able to realize it now. And who are these masters? Like when we talk about it, immediately we look for examples like, do I know, can I see them? I want to see how they are. And that's where the discussion starts with, like, there is no when a person becomes a Jeevanmukta, like it's not that the external appearance changes. There is no uh, uh, set expectations that the appearance will be so and so. So you cannot go by the appearance. It is about the internal clarity, right, and of that person. And so it's not easy to see from outside. And again, then like we know like few of the popular masters, right, like Ramakrishna and Ramana Maharshi, and immediately the idea is like every Jeevanmukta is someone like whom the whole world knows. Right? Is it like that? And it looks like they are like a class apart and very far and very ideal. And like here I have been doing I have leading a life of very normal householder. And there the point is like, again, there are many realized masters, and not necessarily like everyone will be very popularly known outside, right? So it's not that like you have to, one has to look at them and say that okay, maybe in some other life I can also become like that. So not necessary. So right? And one thing, but all once person becomes a Jeevanmukta, and like one common thing what we can see is like they work for Lokakalyanam. Right? And it can be in many forms, teachers, or like serving people directly, right? Few can be sannyasis, right, guiding people. So that is very clear, because there is no post that there is no they don't see the need, any more need for themselves. And so what happens then, right? If I don't have the need for myself, I'm working for myself, then like I am always, whatever my actions are, all my actions are guided for the people, community around me, to help share the truth, right? Clarify the truth, clarify the doubts. And so so we can see through all the masters whom we know, all of them have been doing this, have done this. So that's clearly one common trait we can see it, right? And we talk, maybe I'll come back. Yeah, and then we talk about the types of realized masters, based on like what their intentions were when they got into this path. And that's why we see Brahmavid, Brahmavara, Brahmavarya, Brahmavarishta, right? And if you look at the slight differences, all of them are realized people. There is no difference from the jnana, knowledge point of view. It is just that a Brahmavid is like a lot more connected with the society and like serving the society, doing, while the grade drops down, and the Brahmavarishta is like more of completely disconnected from the society and like doing like isolated or like in the meditation state. Well, definitely like if like when people approach, he or she will still help help them clarify, but not that much involved in the society. So that is where the gradation seems to be. It's not necessarily like one has to be like this. There are like different, that's what we can see, that there are different levels on how much they can be involved, connected in the society. It's not that they have to be completely disconnected all the time. Right? And so for a seeker, so here is the bigger point, that while we always look at all these masters, the seeker has to accept that there are masters all the time. There is never a time where there is no master. That's where the the Guru Parampara ensures that the knowledge of Vedanta is carried over, right? So, and the bigger thing is here for the ego to be humble enough to accept a living person as a master. It's always very easy to look at Shankaracharya, Ramana, and say that, wow, great. I will fall at their feet and for all the jnana they have given, while that kind of respect, when will it come for the living people? Because the moment you see at the living normal or living human beings, and you look at all their activities, and the mind tends to starts comparing to these masters, right? And that's where the point is, one has to be humble enough to first be able to accept that all of them were there at every time. There were followers, and even today, even right now, there are living masters all the time, right? And that once that ego is ready from the humbleness, when it's humble enough, that is where that's the starting point, because not accepting a living person as a realized master denies that person itself that like he or she can be realized someday, right? So it's very important on the humbleness factor, right? So and then like there are 2 points I saw that Kashmiri Saivism regards the women masters the highest state. Again, it's about like taking the humbleness into factor. Like from the society conditioning point of view, right? So you have to take steps you have to break all the conditioning to go beyond, right? And also talks about householder gurus. They can be. It's not necessary that like you have to go for a sannyasi who is not. There are at many times or the masters have been grihasthas, and how it is helping those who are grihasthas is like you can see that like they are able to can stay with the society and reach where they want to be, right? So the final point I think I didn't put here is if one is around a true master, definitely they will feel peace being there. They will get a lot more calmness and clarity, and that is definitely a trait of being around a realized master. So this is how I understood from talk 66.
Very nice, Sarananji. Does anyone have questions for Sarananji in what he has shared so far? In our great Indian debate tradition, there is a role called Purva Pakshi. Not that the Purva Pakshi has any kind of ill will towards the one who is presenting.
Yes.
But the Purva Pakshi asks deeper questions to show the greatness of the one who is presenting. It's
always like that. The fact that like having that mala and ensuring that the flavor does not change the color because of the
yes.
the temperature of the person.
Yes.
Ultimate.
The conversation between Mandana Mishra and Adi Shankaracharya. Correct. Yeah. Very nice.
Yeah. Good.
So, okay. So, one question, Sarananji. So, what does it mean to you? What is that takeaway for you from this particular introduction about realized masters?
So, So one is definitely that when you don't, the first thing is like not to have any preset notion uh, of the realized master, and like you will be like this so and so, or and move out and like move myself away from, okay, maybe um, comparing to the realized masters, it looks like in my life it may not happen, some other life it may happen. I think that is the first thing, I think, that breaks. You like the starting, um, uh, you may be in any state today, but you can still reach, you can still reach there. You can become Jeevanmukta. It's something I feel like, uh, uh, yeah, one humbleness point of view, yes, can say that, yeah, I can go, I have to go through a lot more of conditioning, but that doesn't mean that um, it will not happen. I think one has to be committed to it, and believe in this, right? Number one. And number two, um, like not breaking that uh, expectation of the masters to be so and so, like uh, the external appearance and what they are. uh, it can be anything. It is like not necessary that like you have to have uh, uh, idea is like you cannot even have a 0.0001 doubt on the masters because of the external appearances and what how they are living, right? It is about the internal conditioning, and that humbleness to accept the living masters is a big starting point, because that questionnaire itself is coming from the ego. And if the ego is standing out, right there, that ego is going to be a block to in our sadhana, right? So I think that these two are um,
The key takeaway for you.
yeah, it's not, yeah. So I do have a friend where we keep discussing, and it's always about like, if you are in this corporate life, you cannot make progress, and it will slow you down, or like you are not going to reach it in this birth, right? So that's a discussion we always have, but that's what it says, right? I can be involved and keep doing all that I am doing, but the point is like, what is the internal state from which I'm delivering this? I think that's what is much more important. It's not about like and the uh, uh, between my between me and my friend, the discussion always is like, hey, you should at some point of time drop this and become a teacher. Right? While I think the loka kalyana is important, it can be it can be in any state, any day. I don't have to be doing certain thing to do that. That's what I feel. uh, just go with the flow with externally what I'm doing, but i can still I can still be the source of inspiration, and that peace, uh, positivity for the people around me, right? And I can still be doing loka kalyana, like always having that in my mind, right? And like approach life.
Excellent. Very
Yeah.
nice. Very nice. Thank you, Sarananji. Who would like to go next?
Right.
Yes, Padmaji. What is that you would like to see show on the screen? This illustration, what is that you would like?
No, I'll just speak, sir.
Sure.
Actually, Saravanan has covered most of the thing from T66. So I'll not go into the detail of all that, but like you asked, I'll definitely definitely speak about how it makes a difference to me, or
Yeah.
how it has affected me.
Yeah.
So, so the first question that comes from this is why we need to be a Jeevanmukta? Like what are the benefits, or how it can help us? That was the first thing that came to me. Like, why is everybody looking for that? Yes, we have heard that, that is your ultimate goal and all that from the realized masters. But how do you come to that? I mean, everybody has different kinds of goals. It could be anything, professional or personal. But then what is the benefit of being a Jivan Mukta? So one of the things that that comes is, of course, freedom from suffering is what Guruji also says, and all the texts, spiritual texts mention that. But then, what is the use of that freedom from suffering? So freedom from suffering, I think, in many ways, when you have that freedom, you automatically tend to disassociate from the material cravings, or any other cravings that you have, is one way to look at it, because that kind of helps you in keeping that disassociated state. Otherwise, even now, I think we have stages of it. Like, sometimes we are more into material and other things. I have noticed it for me personally. Like, sometimes I'm very involved with the outer this thing, and sometimes I'm functioning with the realization that, okay, all this is just superficial and it's not going to last. That understanding is there. So it's a constant shift, maybe from here there, like that. When many people, you're interacting with many, or if it's a family function kind of thing, you go with that flow, and you completely forget about this thing. So it's like that for me. So now, I think when you have that freedom from that suffering, and you are disassociating, I think it is permanent. I think whatever you are doing, that disassociation is always there. With that in the background, the realized masters function. So that is something that we will slowly go to, I think. The next thing what I realized is, what I found is, I think all the beings, including us and the people around us, are all going towards that. Like, it's the final destination for everybody. Some of us are maybe a little bit ahead in that path, some are behind. And I find that it is very rare that everybody in a particular family will be on the same level. I think that's kind of a test also given to you, because then it is like your sadhana. Are you really working towards it? You can see it. I think that is one of the factors which I have started realizing of late, that why there are so many difficult people also around you. I think it is constantly to give you that test, that okay, if at any point you think that, okay, I am better, or I am advancing in this, then that comes as a test. Like, okay, are you really advancing? Because this is what is coming to you, and how you are reacting, has it changed in any way from how you reacted earlier? And what is your inner state when you react now, or when you act now? What is your inner state? That speaks a lot. I think that is kind of also an evaluation for yourself, where you stand, because there is no one else from external to tell you where you are. Only you can understand that aspect, that how far I am, or where I need improvement. That only you can decide for yourself. That is one of the I think most important thing I got from this this video of Guruji. And yeah, another thing that Guruji said was, I always had this thing that how can a housewife even be realized? Or I would think that if you are realized, you have to just leave everything and take sannyas and go somewhere, all that. So I think that thing Guruji cleared in that video. It was like that question was going in the mind, and suddenly Guruji started speaking about it in the video, where he says that householders and women, there are many women who are already realized, but they are not able to, they don't come out, they choose not to come out and do because they are already doing something within their family. So that was a really nice thing, because we have some set mindset about who can be realized, how do they look, and how do they function, what do they do, especially after seeing all the very great masters that we see who are so famous, like Sarvanji said. You have some preset notion about who can be self-realized and what he should be doing, he or she. So that also got clarified, I think. Also, one more thing that Guruji said about vasanas in this video is that just because you are a Jeevanmukta doesn't mean your vasanas disappear automatically. So they are still there, and depending on that, they choose how to spread the message. In that, he gives an example of Tyagaraja and all these people who have some are having music as the basis, so they have spread their teachings through that. So anyway, you can spread the message is what he says. So, and also the thing is, another thing that he mentioned was about, even if you are a Jeevanmukta, there is a part of the karma or whatever that you have to continue to live. That all doesn't disappear, but maybe the because you are a Jeevanmukta now, it doesn't affect you, like, because you have a clear understanding that whatever is happening to the body and it's not to you. So I think the suffering is reduced. So that is why that freedom from suffering is very important, I think, because it helps you to function the way you should function without having all these as a shackles in your feet. I think that is very important. So that was my take. And another thing is what Guruji talks about surrender. I think that is also very important, because we all, especially as after you start in the spiritual journey, we might be reading various texts, and we have come across a lot of gurus who are famous, who are not famous, and their words make a lot of difference. But then are we truly surrendering to them, or is it just another, like we are reading it like some book, or that kind of thing comes to you? And also, when you start reading too much and you know a lot memory wise, like this is mentioned in this text, then also one place comes where there is a stop, because now you are thinking about, oh, I know this, I know that kind of place starts with the ego, like I know more than anybody in my house, that those kind of things starts. So you don't know anything. That attitude should not come. The humbleness should be there, and the complete surrender to the Guru should be there in the path, I feel. Yeah, so these are the thing for me. Yeah, this was the takes for me.
Very nice. So what is that has been blocking us from that self-realization? What is it that blocks you from self-realization? Will somebody have to from outside come and give you a certificate? Or how do you recognize? Two different questions. What blocks and who will recognize? I
think blocking is the ego. The ego is the one that stops, because we have it at various, it comes in at various levels it is operating, I think. One thing is, for example, there can be a lot of other conditionings which say that, if you have to be this, you have to be like this only. So then you start having questions like, okay, right now I'm having this house, I'm having so much of jewelry, maybe I'm having so much of sari. Oh, if I become a jnani, I cannot wear all that. This kind of things also might come, because there are some vasanas that are there. Same thing, I think, with food and other things, or even with your own belongings that you have. I think you have enjoyed it for so many janmas, we don't know. So that those are all so strong that I think the ego is the only one which stops, like it is the only block, I feel, because when
yourself.
Sorry,
You mean yourself? There is no one from outside.
Yeah, but that is not the true self, right? It is the ego self that is doing it. Because when I think one aspect of which we inherently know is once that ego is dropped, we become one with everybody, right? That also, I think inherently we are aware to a large extent. And then you have that block that, okay, I may be willing to embrace all the people in my spiritual group, but that may not be the case with somebody I'm not in good, relationship with. So then I might think, okay, do I really want to do that? The ego will say, no, okay, how can you be one with him? Yeah, you remember what he did to you, he or she? It might be long time, but you still remember all that word by word. You remember what they said, what you said, stuff like that. So I think the ego is the only one that is the block. And realize, what was your second question, sir? Can you just repeat it again?
So can I question here itself?
Yeah.
This is the connection with the point you made before also, that the tough people and environment keeps happening as a test. And now you said like how to accept everyone.
Yeah, understood.
I think that itself, isn't it that like from what we have been seeing, right? There is actually no one outside you out there.
Yeah, that that's what I said. You know it through text, okay, but have you really experienced in true sense? I think once the day you experience is the day you are becoming one, right?
When
you
you
realize,
when you have that person whom you feel as tough or difficult to deal with, it has to be, I have to give that power from me to that person to even see that like that person is tough, right? If that image, I have to give the power to create, right? Without me, there is no tough person outside there. I have to give that power to see that way.
No, what you're saying is completely true. Okay, we are giving the power. That person is so and so is in my mind. Okay, that is my world. What I am seeing is my world. I understand all that. But then when it comes to the application part, I am not applying it like every day. Maybe the degree has changed. That's why I said that everybody's ultimate goal is that only. Some may be a little bit more behind. Some may be like this. For example, if I have to give an example, I will say that, for example, somebody with whom I'm not in a good relationship with, okay, I also know for sure that they are not into the spiritual teachings or anything. So what has happened is, in the last say 2-3 years, my actions towards whatever they do, that has definitely changed. But that doesn't mean that they have changed. They still continue. See, they still are saying the same things. Okay, what I have heard before is what they're saying now. So that is why I'm saying that essentially we can only change ourselves. Only when we change ourselves, that thing will also change. But I also have noticed that till you have learned that lesson, whatever has that situation is supposed to bring, it keeps coming back to you. That is my understanding of my world. Okay,
Yes,
it might not be the same for you, it might be different for you.
The realization is for oneself, and the world is not going to change at all, irrespective of whether I'm realized or not realized. The world will continue.
Yeah, but see, that's what, once you're realized, there is no differentiation. So probably you will not experience the way you experience also will change. That we cannot say it now. Only when we experience, we'll come to know. But as we are seeing all the realized masters, they have no, however you talk to them, there are people, if you can see Sadhguru or Ravi Shankar ji also for that matter, there are people from the audience who abuse and, ask in various ways the questions which is not even proper. There are no manners sometimes. And then still they are so calm and they don't take it very personally, and how they reply to it with such clarity is not something very easy to come, because you are not expecting somebody to say those things to you, right? And then somebody out of the blue comes, and then if it was us, and between 500 people, if somebody is saying that to you, obviously, you will not react the way they are reacting. You will be so offended, you will be wounded inside. Oh my God, how come this person said this to me? All this comes. So I think, but I feel that as we go through all these texts, these teachings, definitely there is an internal change. And that is also for us only to see, because when the same situation comes, how you act now is what is giving you the guidelines, that have you even changed a little bit, or are you still there? Otherwise, there is no way to evaluate, right? Who is going to evaluate? Like sir asked the question, who is going to tell you that you are realized or you are not realized? That is only for us to know and for us to get there. I think that is our personal goal. I say the rest all is just worldly, it will come go, but this personal goal is something which is continuing for janmas, I feel.
It's taming the ego. That's
Yeah.
what you are like with all this jnana also right now, the ego is being tamed, saying
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. And I think when we are in this path, especially, and when we know that ego is a major play, we itself can't make a distinction after a point that, okay, who's talking here? Is it me or the ego? Like that, you have that question also.
anytime you get an answer, it's very clear. It's coming from them only. Ego is the only one who stands up to give all the answers.
Correct.
Very nice. Wonderful.
Sir, did I answer your second question? No, was it?
Yeah. So you said that only you can know.
Yeah.
There's no one else who can really verify.
Yeah.
But is there any way you can know? How do you know you know? Or how do you know you are?
I think that is also inherent. You just know.
I think this calmness, right? Being at peace, irrespective of what is going around. Where I'm able to distance myself from what's happening. I can I have noticed this as well, in the sense like where there is of everything that's happening around. It's not that I am attached, I have ragodvesha for everything. There are a lot of things I just witness, watch and go. And there are some things where I have a very particular attraction or a rejection. Then there itself, that tells me that there you go, I experienced the witness state with this situation or with this environment. If I can extend, if that extends everywhere all the time, right, that happens, right? It is just that where I get attracted or rejected, I know that is the vasanas that needs to be clarified, right. So and take it further to other things where like I'm able to observe with a distance and like not getting any agitation inside.
Yeah, I think that is where the work is needed. That is what I mean when I say that the situations come in the same way to you again and again till you learn.
Yeah, yesterday I was talking on this to my friend. This is how I see it, right? I am like the one carrying all this vasanas in my back, and they come out one at a time, right? And if I can identify that it has come out, be very happy that it has come out and acknowledge it and let it go, so that like one vasana is out free. And instead, if I get attached to it and like I engage with it, it's like I'm putting it back again, right? Like the idea is like either let it go or like put it back and like carry it further.
Excellent. Very nice. Prakash ji. Prakash ji, are you there? Okay. Shubha ji.
Yeah, my two key takeaways from this T66 is being humble makes me see the divinity even in a simple person. Every person, when we are humble inside, we see the divinity in every person. And the second point is uh, householder as a guru helps me realize my inner selves better, since that is more relatable to me. Say, for example, Janaka Maharaja and Shukamuni. Janaka Maharaja was a householder, but he was a jnani. But Shukamuni was like he had given up everything. So both are jnanis, but the way we can relate and we can understand ourselves better is maybe through the example of a householder as a guru. And same thing with Prabhuji and Vijayji. So we can relate more. So that way it helps us to understand how to realize ourselves. Is what is my key takeaway from T66.
So Padmaji and Saravanji spoke about qualities of a jnani and also about the day-to-day implementation related work in progress. So what is your take on that, Shubhaji? How do you keep applying this? How do you handle situations? How has this particular jnana about the qualities of a self-realized master, how has it helped you?
Yeah, I have realized what the way I have reacted before to a situation and how I react now to the same situation. That has really, there is a lot of difference in that. That's how I have realized that my journey towards spirituality is progressing in a better way.
Good. So does it mean that all the vasanas will go away? Because see, if you look at life, there seems to be a genuine contradiction. In the beginning, there is always a focus on building a person. You have to build a personality. You cannot tell a child, you cannot go and tell your child, you're nobody. Drop your ego. To a child, you say, what do you want to become? You constantly, the society seems to be asking, what do you want to become? In the very nature of the question, becoming means, building a certain kind of personality. I want to be a scientist. I want to be an engineer. I want to be something, okay, which you are not today. So the society wants to build a personality. Now here you are talking about dropping that personality. Because what is ego? What is the sum total of ego? Is what your personality is. Right? So that is what people experience you as, the personality. But here you're talking about dropping the personality. So Shubhaji, is there a contradiction? To a child, and is this not a relevant knowledge? Or how do you reconcile that? Is the question clear?
Yeah, it's clear, but see, for example, if I tell my daughter, okay, become a doctor, but that is not something that she has to drop, that dream of becoming a doctor. She can become, but at the same, what I would say is become a doctor who is service oriented, not money oriented.
But she will, see, for example, if you say be service oriented,
yeah,
and you're nobody, drop your ego. But to become a doctor itself means to build an ego of a doctor. Yes. To become anything means building that ego, right? Ego means what? Ahankara, aham akara. I am that. You have to first say, see, if some child is very weak in visualizing, first see yourself doing that. You are constantly projecting the image. Oh, are you doing that? Are you that?
As like Prabhuji says, ahankara is ego is required, but to a point where the ego doesn't take over, only to the point where it helps you in your path.
Then how do you tell a child? How do you tell a child? You have to build an ego, but to a limited extent. What does it even mean to say that to a child? And how will the child relate to that?
Maybe with experience.
So does it mean that then, Vedanta is not suitable for a child to be taught?
No, I feel when you teach Vedanta and that thing they apply in their life, and that gives rise to experience. When they experience, they will go back to the Vedanta study, what they I think it is interconnected is what is my opinion.
Okay.
I may be wrong.
No. We are having a dialogue. So
Yeah,
let's not
it is
worry.
more interconnected.
Okay. Now let's say, Vedanta says that I am not the doer, I'm not the enjoyer. There is nothing for me to actually do and accomplish. I am complete by my own nature. That is what the Brahmajnanavali we just now chanted. I am complete. I don't need to get something to be complete. I am already complete. So if you give such a, let's say, to begin with the philosophy, and if let's say that is a clarity that emerges, then what is there to do in life?
It is difficult to tell a child, sir. I'm already facing that at my house. But it is not easy to tell them because it's very contradictory at that age. It is very difficult for them to understand the contradiction in that.
Yeah.
It is not easy. Yeah.
So how do you reconcile that? So you're recognizing it's a contradiction.
Yeah.
Then how do you reconcile? What is the clarity that you are gaining out of that contradiction? Is there a contradiction in the first place?
I don't know the answer for this question, sir.
Okay. All right. Let's listen to Saravananji and Padmaji. Meanwhile, I just want to see, Prakashji, are you there?
Yeah, sorry, I'm back now.
Okay. Have you been listening and are
Yeah.
you? Okay. What is your take, Prakashji?
I think that's an important contradiction what you brought out, Vijayji. I think, I don't know, but it's I think one need to mature through the life, I think, to understand Vedanta. It is not possible that at a very early age, it may be difficult to understand Vedanta. Or possibly even implement.
I will suggest examples of Sri Shankaracharya itself,
Yeah, I mean, there are exceptions. I'm not telling there are no exceptions, but generally, the general rule is, I think, you need to mature through the life.
So what you're saying is let the personality build up and then kill the personality.
Yeah, that is inevitable, yes.
So
no, rather, I don't say killing the personality, understand the limitation of the personality.
Okay. So which means that as a child, you have to let them drive recklessly, go and hit, and then tell them, look.
No. See, I think that is where the religion comes into picture, right? That is where the religion is required to put some path to that, some restrict it. Don't allow it to go reckless. Don't allow them to drive recklessly. Correct?
Okay.
So there are some rules set. So
okay.
You still drive.
Yeah.
But and after some driving, you realize that how limited is the driving, or how limited has been the driving, and therefore you seek more.
So essentially, you're saying, the ultimate realizations of Vedanta should not be taken to a child. They may not appreciate it.
Yeah, that's what I think.
And you as a parent have to continue to build the personality.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's see what Padmaji and Sarvanji say.
I think I have a very opposite approach to whatever I heard just now regarding this. Because especially after starting to teach Bhagavad Gita, I think that has come in. I feel that just like there are other vasanas within us, there is also a vasana related to this. And it is not essentially, I think it is wrong for us, or rather not wrong, but incorrect for us to say that as a child, we recklessly should let them go, or as a child, they are not capable of understanding. because I am seeing right now how, especially my 5-year-olds, when they chant, there is so much this thing, and few of them will just close their eyes and chant. They don't even want to like look at you when they chant. And I want to look at me because I'm doing the lip movement, so some of their pronunciations are not correct. But then when couple of times I say and they still close their eyes and chant, I feel okay, they are one with him right now. So what the correction of the mantra that I'm going to do, and what is that going to achieve when they are, right now with him. So I feel that I feel that it does not come with age or anything. It is the maturity of the soul itself that is uh, driving. Again, that is also a vasana that is there from previous lifetime. Especially if children so young are chanting and they want to know more about Krishna and they say things like that, that is also definitely one of the vasanas. Maybe not an, generally I think vasanas means we think something which is bad for us, something which is negative. That is, I think, how we see it, especially from the spiritual perspective. We see it like that. But I feel that some vasanas are good. Probably for us also, we had some vasanas which has driven us towards this. Otherwise, everybody will take it up. No, even at our age, everybody is not taking up. So with age, it is not coming. Definitely, it's not an age-related thing. And I feel that some of the children appreciate it very young also. And as we do with other things, for example, even if a child doesn't want to eat healthy, a mother doesn't stop making healthy food, or she doesn't stop offering healthy food to the child, realizing that over a period of time, yes, it will come back to that. I think it's the same is with the spiritual thing also. Even if you go and say Vedantic teachings to young ones, it is not that they don't understand. I don't think you can say that they don't understand. Maybe it might be a difficult for a few, but some may really appreciate it. Like one of the child in my batch, he will say that I really love Krishna, like that he will say, and there will be some deep smile in his face. I have tried to understand that smile, like what is going on in your head right now. I want to see, I want to go into that mind and see. But he will say like that, and it is so it is like how it will say for its mother or father, right? Oh, I love my amma. That kind of expression is there on the child's face. So how do you know Krishna so closely? How do you know him? It's the next question, right? Either it is coming from your family somewhere, somebody is so devoted and you have seen that, or maybe somewhere from your previous vasana you have carried it. Like, I love Krishna so much, like that. So I have a different approach. I think we should, just like we offer healthy food and all, we should continue to keep giving the children this. Maybe they're like Prakashji also said and Shubha said, some things like maybe, it is not very relevant to them. Like they might be going to play and you are sitting and, okay, come and chant this Bhagavad Gita shloka and only then you can go. Maybe that kind of thing won't work with them and they might not be interested that time. The play might take priority over this. But I think that doesn't mean they are not listening. For example, even with Aditya, if I have to say, every Monday when I take my class, he's usually sitting next to me and he has his headset and he's doing his stuff. Okay. But I have seen that some of the days, just like we hum one song from morning, right? Like that, someday he will be saying Mukam Karoti Vachalam. Like that, that thing is keeping on repeating in his voice. So I at that time when I hear him, I think, oh, so you were sitting there, you had headsets also on, but it has still gone into your ears through other this thing. So that I think that happens naturally. There are some things which they pick up which we don't realize they are picking up. It is not a conscious effort on our part or even their part, but it is going in from somewhere. So eventually, I think it will surface when the time comes, when the soul is mature enough. It will take a big turn and come into this. Is how I see it. So I don't think Vedantic teaching is not for children. If they are interested, definitely, and we can anyway put little bit into their head all the time. For example, I think I bring it up mostly when there are some competitions in the school, and he's like, some days he will say that no, I have to do this, I have to go, I have to get this much, like that, and all his approach will be in some states. So then I asked him, what if that doesn't happen? What if that doesn't happen? I asked him. And then one day he said, first time he said to me, which mother will ask like this? What if that doesn't happen? Shouldn't you be like with me and say, yeah, that should happen, that should happen? So I said, yeah, maybe a few years before mother would say that. But now I am asking you, what will happen if that doesn't happen? Because I'm more interested in how you are going to deal with it if it doesn't happen. Because you're all charged up because you want it. But if you don't get it, then what will you do? So then I said, you know what, you might not like your friend also after that. Once you lose to him, maybe you might not like him after that. Then he started thinking a little bit like, okay, what is going to happen? So I think I don't expect an answer, but just the thing that you started thinking about it, how you are going to deal with it. Are you not going to talk with that person anymore if he is outperforming you, or what? Or how you are going to deal it with yourself, what effect it is going to have on you. I think this kind of, if questioning itself starts, it's a very good thing, I feel.
Excellent. Very nice. So what you are saying is this jnana helps them to go deeper. But then, if let's say this jnana becomes deeper, I am not the doer, I'm not the enjoyer, and I'm complete by myself, there's nothing for me to really do.
No, I think that is where I think, no, that is where you have to come and say that it doesn't mean you are not doing anything. I think you can give examples of all the great people that they see. Like one of the questions that came up between me and Aditya is, he asked one day, like, why is Gurudev doing whatever he's doing? Because he's also done a couple of courses with Gurudev, and then he said, why is Gurudev doing what he is doing? He doesn't have to do anything. He has so many people around him. They do everything for him, is what was his thing. But then I said, see, Gurudev is the one that is driving all that. He's the leader of that organization. That is how he understood it. He said it's like a Gurudev's thing is like a big corporate, he said to me. So I said, yeah, so the corporate needs a CEO or an MD, right? So he is the one who has formed that corporate, and if he doesn't function, rest of them are not going to function, because they are all his hands only. They are his hands and legs. Don't see them as people. But Gurudev has thousands of arms and thousands of legs, and all that has to work for him to work. Otherwise, what he is thinking in his mind will not happen, is what I said. So I think that is when you can give examples like, okay, if you are not going to do anything, how are you going to eat? Because you still need to sustain this body. You still need to eat. You still need to wear clothes. All these things are there. You still are going to have parents. Your parents are going to get old. So
but see, today only Sarvananji said, Brahma Varishta is the one who doesn't even seek that.
Yeah. But it is not like they are not doing anything, sir. It is not like that. Like Brahma Varishta, I think example is given by Guruji was Ramana Maharshi only. But Ramana Maharshi, can we really say he did not do anything? No. I think his contribution is so much. With that silence itself, he's contributed so much.
True.
Especially,
it's not about contribution, but he was not seeking anything. So the question.
But the seeking did not seeking has not stopped him from spreading the message or spreading the knowledge. Yes, of course, he has not, especially if you see, as far as clothing is concerned, he has not had any clothing also. We can't even say he wore clothes. That was a very basic thing which he wore. And food also maybe, but he would have definitely eaten food. Maybe he didn't say that I want jalebi, I want this, that. That part is not there, but doesn't mean he didn't eat food for sustaining his body. That is there, and I think that is where the choice also comes to them, where they can leave the body when they want to, because till that time they are okay, they are still taking care of it. But now, okay, I am done with it, so I can even let go of this body. I think that is where that samadhi comes for them. And they know, I probably, I am not the right person to even make a comment or anything on it, but maybe they know that somewhere they know that my work is over or I need to move on. Something like that might come as to why they take the samadhi. And many of them even mention it like many days before that I'm going to take samadhi, and they entrust the work of service to the next who they feel is capable. So I think it's a process. I think so. I don't see it as anything as this journey related, sir. Except especially after getting into this, I see that definitely it is coming from the past also. It is coming from the past lives also, because in one family, like you can have somebody who's extremely opposite, like especially after you are in spiritual, you can see that like it will take probably another one lifetime, because they are so much engrossed in materialistic thing. They like you cannot make them come out of it in this lifetime, is how I see it for some people.
Excellent. Shubhaji, you were saying something.
Yeah, the point is, I agree that when we teach kids or when we learn, automatically that vasana goes to them. They also learn simultaneously, even though we don't realize that they are learning it. And I'm not saying that young age they don't need Vedanta. They need everything in life. But what they learn everything, like don't expect the results, all that they realize. But at one point of stage, since they are not that mature, they feel that in spite of putting everything, I don't get, then what is the point in it? You say everything happens for good. What is it? Is not when that doesn't happen, that is when you don't know how to guide them in that path. So that is where I say that experience definitely helps. Maybe when they are immature, they don't know the answer. When we are more experienced, we know the answer.
So Shubhaji, I have one question here. Why do you say that they are not immature? How do we know that they are not immature? Is it not something
you mean
age-related?
other way, right, Padmaji? How do we know that they are not mature? That's what you mean.
Yeah, I mean, like, see, we as parents, because we are elders, again, we have that conditioning to think that somebody who is younger or that age is not mature enough. It's our understanding, is what I feel. It's the conditioning for us. For example, even if I see in at your home, I feel Mihir is very, very if I see from how he talks and all, I feel he is very, very mature. I have not interacted much with Medha, but I can see that he has that inclination towards spirituality. Like it at my house also, Adi has, but yeah, that's what the degree might vary, but he
that is what
definitely has.
Degree varies, definitely.
Degree varies. Correct. You are correct. But then what I see is when the degree is varying also, for us also, I am saying now. Now we are in this path, okay. Doesn't mean all of us are at the same level. Some things we understand better. Some people's understanding may be better, but application may not be that great as far as their understanding is. That is also there. And some may be applying it very well, but they might not be very good in this Tattva Bodha or whatever we know. They might not, because they might not have the opportunity to come to a class, or maybe they have not attended something like this. But it might be inherent in them, some things. Because I think that, Sir said, it is our true nature. So we are bound to go towards that. And that is where we are going, is what I feel. And different people are coming in that journey in a different way. So that is definitely there, I feel. So for me, I don't think that, like you asked one question, right? That is where you were coming to, like, what if they don't have any expectation, or if that expectation is not met, was your question, right? How do we deal with that, correct?
Yes, sometimes, yes. They know everything, but sometimes when things don't happen their way, in spite of, they say no. Well, we always say, put your hard work, you will get the result.
Yeah.
But when it doesn't happen, that is when all that frustration starts.
Yeah. That is when I think this teaching is going to help more, because when Krishna says that, you put your hard work, then whatever you get, it is not just dependent on the hard work alone, right? There are other factors that we need to show it to them, that it is not just that. And that is why I think I start putting that question to Adi, like, what will happen if it is not met? If you are not able to get that so and so, what you're going to do, is what I started asking him. Because that is again for him to figure out. I can only guide him, I can only say it to him, but he has to accept it from within to actually experience the transformation or whatever, right? Otherwise, as a parent, you will keep saying, yeah, it's okay, you did your best. But then they are not going to be satisfied with that word alone, because again, it's an internal thing for them. That their ego, that okay, I did this much, but look what I got. That is how their ego will function at that time. I did so much, but look what I got. And maybe some other kid who they have always seen playing,
Yes.
and in the school especially, and if they perform well, they will also think, oh, he didn't do anything, he was always playing, and look, he got more than me. That kind of thing also will come, right? So I think it is again for them to figure out. We can only like show them the path. I think after that, again, it is for them to, like how we resolved it within us, or we are resolving. I think it is for them to resolve it within themselves, is what I feel. I don't know, maybe sir also can share, because sir has 2 kids at that age where they are doing all this, and even Sarananji has a smile now. So he has also.
Yeah, so one is, as far as the knowledge is concerned, see, at the end of the day, any knowledge is useful. And among all that knowledge that is useful, knowledge about the self, which can be in the form of Bhagavad Gita or Vedanta, knowledge about the self is extremely important. And the importance is the center from which anybody acts. So there is only 2 ways in which one can act in the life. When you look at it from the outside standpoint, and when you look at anybody's action, there are only 2 ways from where they can act. The center, that I have to get something to make my life fulfilled. I have to become something to be fulfilled. I have to accomplish, and when people appreciate, then only I become fulfilled. Then only I am full. Then only I'm complete. That is the center from where seeking starts. The other center is, I am complete and I offer myself to the world. So I need something is one center, is one way of doing whatever you're doing. I am complete and I'm offering the best I can is another center. So between these 2 centers of operation, the first center of operation is a constantly seeking program. Because whatever that I think I have to feel as fulfillment, when will that happen? Because there is no clarity about that. And what is that is going to make me feel fulfilled? There is no clarity to that. Look at the game of the life. Starts with just finish the high school, just finish the college, just get married, just make children, just make a house. So the seeking continues to expand. The underlying seeking of fulfillment is not there. Why? Because the logic is built on something that is constantly changing, that is constantly shifting. You probably 10 years back needed just 1,000 rupees to be happy in order to, let's say, fulfill your needs. Today, you may need 1 lakh rupees. If you really look at it, your fundamental needs haven't changed, but the degree by which you fulfill them has changed dramatically. You could be very happy standing next to a roadside churumuri's shop and feel complete. Oh, I'm fulfilled. But today, 5-star hotel may not make you give the same thrill. So that is one center of operation. The other center of operation is, I can continue to play the roles, different roles in the life, and I can continue to contribute to life meaningfully, I don't need to get anything from life per se to contribute. Because in the first center of operation, I will contribute only if I get this. In the second center of operation, I offer. The example of the Surya Deva, example of the wind god, example of the water, they offer, but not necessarily to get something back. So the second center of operation is the center of operation of all the realized masters. And the realized master is not necessarily a person, not necessarily a gender, not necessarily an age, not necessarily a nationality. A realized master can be anyone. In terms of outside form, can be anyone. See, Surya Deva is not a person in the way that we think. Surya Deva is a realized master. In what sense? In the sense of how Surya Deva's life is, how he functions in the world. So therefore, knowing about that, you don't need to get anything in order to feel fulfilled. However, life itself is a continuous striving. Life itself is a continuous striving. You will never be perfect by striving in life. Because there is no perfect doctor, there is no perfect mother, there is no perfect athlete, there is no perfection in the outside world. Outside world will continuously morph. You think 100 rupee, if I get 100 rupee, I'm great. The moment you get 100 rupee, you'll see others getting 10,000 rupee, you suddenly feel less. So it's always, this is taller by not by itself. This is always taller in comparison to this, or in comparison to this. In comparison to this, it is always shorter. So in outside world, life is always relative measure. So therefore, you will always feel incomplete when you have built in the logic that life is about becoming something, getting something. So therefore, the inner clarity that you, by your nature, you are complete. But then you offer your inner talent, whatever that may be. That need not have to be in comparison to somebody. Your inner talent is inner talent, where you feel the most fulfillment. I cannot bring a cuckoo bird and say, now you swim like a fish. I cannot get a fish and say, fly like an eagle. So I have to constantly encourage that being to seek that inner potential. They say, no, each seed has the fruit already within it. So the whole game has to shift from become somebody so that you feel the fulfillment to you are complete. Seek that which makes you feel what you are offering is the best value to the others. What is your talent? What is your inner call? That is what the child has to constantly be looking for. Not that by becoming that, the child will be better. The child is already best. In what way? In the inner qualities, in the inner being. The inner being of everyone is the best. There is nothing more to be done. But in terms of the external contribution, there is always something that one can do depending upon their own vasanas, their own abilities and the need. See, you cannot just say that I will be a teacher. Of what? Do you really need to be a teacher? It's like saying that, there is somebody fallen on the ground with an accident and I will go and help them. What do I know about first aid? So like that, everything has to be some kind of a practice, skill development. Do I have a passion for it? Do I love doing that? And while doing that, is that where I feel that sense of fulfillment that, it has helped the other? All these are the questions that anybody has to deal with, and they have to recognize it for themselves and look at how to take that next step. So therefore, there cannot be a be that or don't be this, but we have to give them the framework of reality. So And the reality is Bhagavad Gita. And the reality is Vedanta. As is. When somebody recognizes life as is, then how do you live life? So life has to be led with the inner clarity. That's why all the great masters say there are two lives. And the greatest life is after I recognized my true nature. Because the prior life is full of confusion, seeking, lack of clarity, frustration, worry. So, but that has helped to see the value of the next. So therefore, we cannot deny the fact that, see, for example, you are not the only one who's giving any kind of information or suggestion to your children. A personality of your children, depending upon their Purva Karma and so many other things, their friends come in. The other situations in their life also come in. All of that, you and I cannot be responsible as parents. That's why Khalil Gibran says, children are not yours. Your children are essentially, the Ishvara has used you as a bow to release them as the arrows. You're just the bow. You're not their parents. You're just the bow. Through you, life is finding another fulfillment. Through you, life is finding another expression. Through you, life is finding another meaning. So your children are not yours. They belong to Ishvara. You, at best, are the guardians. And as a guardian, you can only do that which you know as a guardian. That's all. You cannot be doing much more or less. As a gardener, whatever is the best you know at that point in time, tell me, is there any bad mother, any bad father? All of them did what they did or are doing or what they are doing with their knowledge, with their awareness. And that is what has helped that child to evolve in that way and to recognize something. If the father has been abusive, then the child has recognized what the abuse does. So the child will recognize what it should not do. So therefore, there is no right or wrong answer. At the end of the day, as a parent, the love and care and the dedication that may the best happen for the child is the only answer that with which I can feel at peace. Otherwise, what am I doing? How am I doing? What is that I have given? What is that I have not given? Where are they in comparison to somebody else? I have absolutely no control. Somebody like Namit, he gave a speech in the Shobha Forest View, on ecology. I think they did a program on ecology. He went and spoke about how to care for the nature. I was amazed at what he said, and I asked him, how did you prepare? You know what he said? He said, sir, in Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna says, Karmanne vadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. I recall that shloka. Krishna said, do your best, leave the rest. So I just recalled that and I went there and I spoke. I didn't expect that answer from him. But when I heard that answer, I was totally satisfied. Like Padmaji said, when we are doing something, when we are behaving in a certain way, we want to tell others, do this way, this is good. But I don't think that really helps. When you are that, then the others naturally know it. So there is always an anchor to go back. So the anchor is you have not swerved away. You have always held that right path. That is what will give an anchor to your child. Your child may not exactly mimic your words or exactly think that it is following your instructions, because the child wants to see how you are when they break the rule. And that is the natural way of learning. Nature doesn't want to mimic and replicate. Please see, no two moments are alike. Nature is not a copycat machine. Nature is not a copycat machine, but there's an inner anchor that will stay with them. And that inner anchor is the truth of Bhagavad Gita. Inner anchor is the truth of Vedanta. And that inner anchor, it can come to the child at any point in time, depending upon the karma of that child. As a parent, I can always aspire to offer that. I can always aspire to take the horse to the water. Will the horse drink the water? I have no control. So ultimately, therefore, it is each one's journey. Each one's journey. To a master, each one who come into their life is like a child. Whether it is Prabhuji or Vinayji or Amma, we all have seen that love and compassion. To each one is like a child. So, but all these lakhs of children, is all of them at the same level? Are all of them able to recognize what the master is pointing at? But the master is like a gardener. Every day comes back and looks at that particular plant and looks at what is important for that plant to grow at this point of time. Does it need protection or does it need water? Does it need some weed to be removed or does it need sun to be shining on it? So it's a context based on the situation of that plant. So there cannot be a single answer, but the intention is that of may the best happen for that seed, and the best will happen for that seed, because the nature of the nature is to tend towards the fulfillment. So there cannot be any other way. Everyone is destined for enlightenment. Everyone is a Buddha. It is just that they have to recognize the Buddhahood. So therefore, I cannot carry anxiety when dealing with a child. I have to recognize that this is the nature. This is how nature helps somebody to grow. When I was growing up, I had a revolt against my religious nature of my family. I never did, whatever the puja that they prescribed. They had put some taita and so many other things. I removed all of it. I said, no, I don't have any trust in it. So what kind of a feeling that might have gone into my parents' hearts? But in a way, all of that has helped. And whatever they did, stayed. And you recognize, you reconcile all this as you rightly said, as you mature. So the samskaras that we are offering will not go waste. Because at the end of the day, everything is a seed. When the right time comes, it sprouts. Any other statements or questions?
Fine.
So that is the inherent trust in existence. Existence is kind. Is the kindest father, kindest mother, is kind. Kind doesn't mean always it will teach in a very soft way, but it is kind. Sometimes out of kindness, you have to cut a finger so that the gangrene doesn't spread to the rest of the body. And that action is out of kindness only. And that part that is cut is not really cut away. It is given an opportunity to transform itself into something else. Because in nature, nothing really thrown away. It's always transformed. So kindness only is. And it manifests in different ways. So inherent trust that existence is benign and existence is taking care of everyone. You all know this wonderful story of Kanakadasa. Kanakadasa's father asked him, apparently, who's growing all this paddy and other things in my field? Appa, you, of course. I see you every day working. Kanakadasa's father took him to forest. Who is growing all this paddy? Trees and plants that you see in the forest. Kanakadasa was dumbfounded. So, in that way, inherent trust on the Ishvara, inherent trust on that existence. Sindhutai, the story may look like, my God, such a horror story to begin with. But look at what that horror brought out. It is through the crucible of the fire that the gold emerges. If there is no fire, if that iron ore, if that ore is not heated up to such an extent, gold cannot be extracted. Gold comes only in the crucible of the fire. So life situation is that crucible of fire. And the gold is that inner clarity and that inner divinity that stabilizes. So every realized master is realized because of the situations that has brought that inner depth. Prabhuji shares one experience. He used to be an entrepreneur, and their business had taken crores of rupees of loan. Some negative downturn happened, and many of the partners left, in a way backstabbing. And now the ones who had given loans were knocking on the door, and some of them took even a nastier turn. They started sending the so-called muscle men. And what he says is, when one such situation was happening, and they were in their house with their family, doing all this threatening and everything, and how calm and peaceful Prabhuji remained, helped the other one somehow to let go, and slowly the situation transformed. So that's that clarity. How did that clarity emerge? Only when you're anchored within yourself can that clarity, can that peace, can that depth emerge. So that inner clarity, in a way, it ripens with situations. When you've heard first time, a Jeevanmukta is unperturbed, come whatever may be the situation. And we hear stories. Sindhutai, she was getting beaten up, but still she wanted to help and take care of others, like how that cow helped her. It sounds like a nice story. Wow, what a wonderful feeling. But when the same thing is happening to us, not necessarily getting beaten up in that way, that's an extreme situation. In our life, we get beaten up in different ways. Am I bringing the Sindhutai within me? Is the only question I can continuously ask myself. So rather than I looking at, am I helping my child? Is my child getting the fulfillment? Am I bringing the Sindhutai within me? Am I bringing the Prabhuji within me? Am I bringing the Amma within me? Am I bringing the Vinay within me? That's the only question I can ask and I can know. Rest everything is unknown to me.
On this note, I would like to share, it's a personal experience.
Yes.
My daughter has been the topper throughout. But as you said, the jolt came when she took the NEET exam.
Yeah.
This year, when she took it, she got, what do you call that? Right during the exam, she was because of anxiety, she forgot whatever she could write. And this year she couldn't get the, though she qualified to get into private. She knew that private colleges have huge amount of fees. She didn't want to burden us. So she said, no, mama. She gathered herself. Initially, it was a big jolt for her because she has never gone through that failure part. But she gathered herself and she said, no, mama, I don't want you guys to spend and put me in private. I'm going to study again and I'm going to do it again. And to be frank, she's doing it very well. She
Excellent.
gathered herself and I don't know, sorry for getting emotional.
No, please.
She's, I would say I'm really proud of her for gathering herself, and probably that is what is helping her. Maybe all these things what I'm going through, it is helping her also to be brave. And she says, I lost the seat because not that I wasn't intelligent, but because I at that point of time I was my anxiety took over. This time I'm not going to let my anxiety to take over. I'm going to do double well and see, mama, I will get into, you don't worry, is what she told me. So that maturity I saw in her really helped me. Okay, somewhere whatever I am saying, whatever the upbringing I am giving her, it's going on the positive track, is what I felt.
Excellent. See, as a mother, what more can you give that fulfillment, Shubhaji?
Yeah. Also, I think it was a huge learning for her.
Yes.
Like what you said, she has
Yeah.
grown up so much in that few days or 1 week of whatever has gone inside her. She has processed it and she has come out with such a beautiful thing for herself and for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you realize that your child has grown up suddenly. So when they say with maturity, no, I will do this, you don't worry, I can do this. So you feel somewhat okay. A sense of fulfillment is there.
I just want to bring up one thing, and we can probably end with that. Just a moment. I'm looking for that. Give me a moment, please. It's something that you may have seen it, but still we have to recollect
But
it.
in all these things, in between, when she sees her own friends who have scored much lesser getting the seat and going for payment seat, she gets little disturbed. But again, she goes back to the she collects herself and goes back. No, I'm going to do this time. So that is something I think probably I learned here how to keep myself calm. So these classes help me to keep myself calm, and that is what I feel translates in her behavior too.
Yeah.
So I would thank this class for that.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to share here, Shubhaji, as a teacher of small children, no, I have noticed one thing. On the first day when the children come to school, especially when you have a nursery class, you know, like some will come very happy, some will come crying, some are like so terrified of that school or getting into that class. But you know what, one thing I have observed, that when the teacher is calm and quiet, right, they all tend to come in and eventually settle. But if the teacher is also, oh my god, this one is crying, what should I do, like that, if they are, no, that class has that experience going on for many days. I have seen that. Otherwise, if you are very calm and like a mother, you embrace them, that okay, nothing is there, I am your mama here, like that kind of attitude if you give, no, the settling happens very quickly. And this thing, you don't have to tell them that, you know, I am agitated or they can sense it. They can sense it, that you are tensed, that you are scared and all that. So it gets translated to them, like you exactly said, it translates without even us realizing. But whereas if you are happy and if you are this thing, you know, like a mother, you talk to them, they settle very quickly. They are very comfortable with you in just a week's time, and so on. So this definitely, it's absolutely true what you said, like it translates to them.
Okay, right now I'm not able to find it, Shubhaji. I'll find it and share it after this session.
Sure, sir. No issue.
You would have definitely seen it in, I would have shared it in our group earlier, but right now, for whatever reason, it is not coming up.
No
So,
issues.
see the situation, like you rightly said, when you remain calm and just be there, because the child doesn't need advice. Nobody, for that matter, neither do you nor I, and none of us need advice.
Yeah, she says that, sir. You just be there, Mama. I don't need anything from you. Is what she says.
So what they need is that we somehow is like a small child. As a small child, when you fell, you would go crying to Mama, and Mama will just hold and say, "Okay, it'll be all right." So all that they need is that sense of comfort. That somebody is there to hold my back. That I'm not going to be less loud because I did not do something. That I am loud irrespective of who I am, in the sense that irrespective of what I accomplish. So that feeling is what has to give them that sense of guidance. So wonderful, Shubhaji. Thank you very much for sharing something like that. And last chance. No,
I think it may be a clip. That's why you're not getting it.
Yeah, I'm not able to get
It's
it.
a clip.
But anyway, I'll share it later, Shubhaji. Okay, all right. Is there anything else that? Okay, thank you, Shubhaji. You made our session worthwhile today.
No, it's this class which keeps me sane.
Very nice. Padmaji?
Yes, sir. Om Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, lead me from untruth to truth, darkness to light, impermanence to permanence. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, that is complete. This is complete. When completeness is removed from completeness, what remains is complete. When completeness is added to completeness, totality remains complete. Om, peace, peace, peace. Nanu Nanenbadu Nanalla Ideha Manabuddhi Nanalla Sachidanandatma Shivananu Nane Shivoham Shivoham Shivoham. I am not the body, mind, intellect. I am pure consciousness, Shiva Swarupi. Atmadarshanam Brahmadarshanam Brahmadarshanam Satyadarshanam. Recognition of self is recognition of the whole. Recognition of the whole is the truth. ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात्। ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात्। ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात्. We worship the three-eyed one who is fragrant and who nourishes all. Like the fruit falls off from the bondage of the stem, may we be liberated from death, from mortality. लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु। लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु। लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु. May all beings be happy, healthy and peaceful. Harihi Om Tat Sat.
Thank you very much, Padmaji. Thank
You.
you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.
Hari Om. So,
Thank you.